All right. Welcome, Toni. We finally locked you down.
She is not a myth.
She's here in flesh and blood.
I am. Only because you're so bossy.
Took a lot. It took what, like 6 goes to get you here?
I don't think it was that many.
I think there was maybe 5.
Yeah, there was
Maybe
delays.
I'm exaggerating
there
one.
was like, oh no, I can't possibly come. I've got this very, very important meeting.
Oh no, and then you were sick
got
one day.
sick.
And I was like,
Wow,
was he
don't-
really sick, or did Toni just ask him to stay home and pretend to be sick?
Me, Tonya Harding style. Whoosh.
I knew you would think that.
We all said that.
It was a sniper.
God.
Yeah, she infected me. She poisoned me, actually.
Yeah.
I
just to
knew
get
I
out of
was
it.
not getting away with it. Elsa puts her little bossy stamping feet on, and I knew that was
But
it.
it's kind of funny though, because it talks to the type of character profile that you are. And we've mentioned it quite a lot in the podcast as well too.
Pain in the arse.
No, but everybody has their unique style, and in an organisation with the company, I mean, part of the reason why we're doing the Raw CEO podcast is looking at us and looking at our philosophy, looking at our team, looking at partners, and even talking to other successful people. But we wanted to talk to the founding partners of the company. We've already done Matt, and now me, and now we want to do you. So,
all right, let's start from the beginning.
Yeah.
Let's start from a lot of people asked about, growing up, your background, what if you studied anything, like kind of what led you to this place right now?
Okay. I am Australian, grew up in Sydney in the bush. No, I did study sciences. I went to university, QUT, and studied biochemistry, microbiology, but never finished the degree. So
Weren't you 3 months off finishing?
the last exam?
Last exam. That's just
and
crazy.
do you know why she decided not to complete it?
Why?
Because she didn't want the HECSTEP.
So I loved art and I loved science and maths. So I obviously, went with what all the adults said and went towards a degree for science and maths because that's no money in art apparently. And
Apparently.
Especially back then.
And I got to the last exam and looked around at all my peers and thought, I do not want to be working around a bunch of geeks like this.
Like Steve.
I was forward in lab coat all day long doing these ones. And so I just went, you know what, I just want to do art. So I went and spoke to the dean and they said, pull out now because if you finish the degree, then you'll have double the HECSTEP.
Yeah, wow.
La, la, la. Just about to start private art college when I met this one.
And her life was forever changed.
The rest is history.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no official degree.
Yeah. And it was all of your art was self-taught, wasn't it?
Yeah. So graphic design when I was at uni was not a thing. It was design.
Was it industrial design?
Yeah, industrial design, which I was planning on going into industrial design. And but then, I fell in love, got married very young. I was 21 when we got married. And life went on. We started a retail supplement business, which I'm sure most people have heard about. Did that. Elsa came on board. I then fell pregnant in 2005, the beginning of 2005. And that was a shock. We weren't really planning it. And I was 28 and she was preemie and she died at birth. But that then led me, because when we were in the hospital and she was born, she only lived for a couple of hours, but because it was such a shock and it happened so fast and we were on holidays, we didn't have a camera. And back then it was the very first year of the very first flip phone that had the little teeny tiny camera.
LG, I still remember it as a little flip phone.
The little silver flip.
I can't even remember how many megapixels it was.
I think it was 3.
I thought it was 2.
Or something
Anyway,
like that. It was literally
It's tiny.
3 by 3.
Yeah.
And so I took some photos of her with that. And then the hospital quickly brought us a camera. And they didn't realize that the battery was died. So this is not even digital camera. Wow. This is, you had to
wind it.
Yeah. And then print the freaking negatives. So took photos of her, and then, after funeral and after all the grieving, and then I finally got access to the photos, and they were so blurred because the camera they gave us had dead batteries.
The only thing
and the
you
little
had was
phone
from my camera.
And it was tiny. Like you printed on a piece of paper and it was tiny. So I then looked up Photoshop and started learning how to do Photoshop so that I could recreate some sort of image for her to remember her by and do a photo and in a frame. And that's where it went. And I just got my first Mac and just, self-taught.
Wow, amazing. I didn't actually know that story. I've got goosebumps. That's lovely. Okay, let's go to, a lot of people did ask, so some people are aware that you're head of branding and marketing, but what else, now as a co-CEO, what else do you do at ATP?
Well, there's a really good mansplaining thing there, but I'm trying not to mansplain, so I'm just going to be very quiet until I'm asked to put something in. So.
What's a mansplain?
Oh, this is so good, Toni. Let me explain it to you.
Oh my God.
So what it is, okay, I'm not.
No, really, what is a mansplaining?
What is it?
So mansplaining is when a man talks over the top of a female and explains the way that she's feeling and how she should feel and how she should think about things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And yes.
You would not have a clue how I'm feeling and how I should think about things. I don't think you've ever presumed to.
Do you do apart from branding and marketing, and like what kind of meetings are you in?
Well, I don't do that much marketing anymore, Elsa, because I have an amazing manager who manages the whole team. Her name's Elsa. So pretty much Elsa takes care of all the marketing now. Okay. Jeff and I'll just come in now and then and make sure the overall direction. Elsa knows and understands the holdups with production or what's coming in MPD so that then she can plan with her team where we're going. So that's sort of out of my hands really now. Branding, yes, and we've got a whole new brand concept coming for ATP, which is
and that's been
exciting.
quite quick, right? How long does that take?
Oh, shut up.
She just does it on an Etchy sketch.
Yeah, it's really hard with just that little
that's a good
Etchy
story.
sketch.
We'll dive into that.
That's a running joke.
Yeah.
No, but co-CEO, I mean, that's what Jeff and I have done all along, but we just never did the title because we never assumed. Yeah, I don't really, honestly don't care. I mean, we always say Jeff and I have got half a brain each and together it makes one. So, and we think very differently, so it works.
I was going to say that because you don't see it very often. I know my parents work in business together and they are also very similar to you guys, how they're very different in the way they think and they do and they, manage and whatnot. So is that what you think makes it work? Although, I mean, it would be tough still. Like, you've got kids too, so you'd probably take home a lot of work, talk about it. Do you have rules?
Yeah. Oh, we have massive rules. We didn't at the beginning, and I think I don't know, there was a moment where we realised it when Clayton was young, wasn't it? And he looked up from his iPad one day and just said, "You guys always talk about work." And we just went, "Oh, yeah, I think we do." So we try to be really aware of it now. When the kids are in the car on the way to school, there's no work talk. In the afternoon when we pick them up, as soon as they get in the car, there's nothing. Weekends we keep clear unless they're up on the Xbox, and during that time we can discuss things. So, there are rules now. So, it does become all-encompassing.
We really made a focus a few years ago to become as involved with the kids as we could. So whenever they've got races on at school.
Yeah, you guys are at everything.
Tony's the manager for Clayton's basketball team and he's made a rep team now. So it's like 5 games from a Friday night to a Sunday afternoon, some weekends, which is pretty crazy. I was Clayton's coach. I'm now Corbin's coach at soccer. Football, but soccer for those people who don't know what that means. And then Toni was the manager as well too. But I mean, and it's really tough, like on a Wednesday afternoon, I'm leaving here at 2:30, which is really early. But, like with being CEO and executives and all the rest of it, you're always kind of working. So when you've got an opportunity to actually spend some quality time with the kids, you just need to section that time off and really segment it as much as possible. And it's a good break, actually, even for us, because it's like...
It forces you to stop
thinking. You know, it's like when you're trying to remember something, you can't think of what it was, and people say, we'll go on to another subject and you'll remember what it is. There's a refreshing of the brain. Sleep gives it. Actually having holidays gives it. Being clear and free is an opportunity for your brain to actually work out problems. So it's actually really good for the family. It's really good, you know, for the relationships, but it's actually really good for you as a person, and also, you know, to be well-rounded as an executive, you know, and a co-CEO. And with the co-CEO thing, what was really funny, I'm just smacking everything over here. What's really funny is that Toni and I don't really care about titles. It's really funny. Some people really, really, really do. And you see some small people and they're like, business card. Remember, Toni Doidge said one time, because he got us mixed up with another company. Mixed up. He got us mixed up in a minute. But he got us mixed up. I've just had too much vodka this morning. Sorry, guys. But no, I haven't. But no, what he said was, APT. He goes, yeah, I know you guys. I'm like, no, this is ATP. He's like, no, you've sent me your card before. He goes, and I said, no, Toni, you're mixing me up with somebody else. So he told me about this company. Because he wouldn't give me the time of day. And this company had actually reached out to him, and he had a business card and he gave it to Toni, and it had CEO written on it, right? It's like, right, Chief Executive Officer. Okay, so you got a C-suite, you got your Chief Financial Officer, your Chief Operations Officer. You've got an organization, that's, He was the janitor. Yeah, he was a one-man show, right? And it's just funny because Toni Doidge is such an Aussie bloke, and I think as Australians we're relatively understated for the most part. Though I do find that younger people now seem to be really
it's a thing
full
now.
of crap.
Yeah.
So and it's very un-Australian. Like we play it down. That's part of the reason I think why the world loves Australians.
The CEO wasn't really ever used in Australia, was it? It was a very American.
Yeah, very.
role.
We didn't. We used managing director.
We had two different business cards. Yeah,
one for the US and one for Australia. But anyway, getting to the story. So Toni was doing the job of the managing director / CEO anyway, whichever way you wanted to look at it. And it's when we spoke to the board and they've come on, we said, well, in terms of working out the organizational structure, and look, as you get bigger, as you bring in career professionals, as you're talking to investors, as you're, taking the company places, as you're dealing with large corporations as well too, like, bodybuilding, Vitamin Shop, Walmart, all those sorts of companies, they need to know that you're a relatively decent business. And some people and companies refer and like to know that they're talking to, heads of companies and all the rest of it. And they said, on the org chart, right, Jeff, you're here. Well, where does Toni fit? What's Toni's job description? So we actually went through it, and they're like, well, realistically, Toni's job title should be co-MD or co-CEO. And it's really funny because I didn't even know that was a thing. It's like apparently in AFL, they do it with co-captains, right? And that was kind of weird. I'd never heard of that in rugby or football. But in Australia, I think it was, what was that?
I don't remember the company.
Oh, it was a travel company.
It's only just recently where they've done the same.
Husband and wife, and they were both co-CEO. I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
Because it's usually frowned upon, especially if you're husband and wife, because then investors get a little nervous because you're husband and wife team. What happens if...
What if something happens or,
you break up?
But what's the difference between that and a business partner? In fact, I think it makes it actually more likely that we're going to stay together. I mean, we got married in 1998. I know I don't look that old, but it's true.
Yeah, I think in uni, actually, one of the stats I always remembered, and I think it was because, I don't know why, actually. Was it because of my parents? Maybe. I don't know. But it was like 90% of business partnerships will fail.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
And I would definitely say it'd be up there as well. Maybe not so high.
About 50% of marriages. So if you look at it that way, we're actually, the odds are stacked enough. It's exactly right.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so.
Love
I
it.
don't plan on leaving you anytime soon, so that's fine.
Yeah, no.
No, well, you guys balance each other out. And I think even like all of the team at ATP always saw Toni and yourself, Jeff, like as equals. Like, you both, there's questions you go to Toni for, and then there's questions you go to Jeff for. Yeah. And I definitely work that a little bit. Like,
who will give me the yes?
Who's going to give me the answer I need?
Who's likely to give me that yes? Yeah.
Well, Toni said this. I don't give a crap what she says. No, that's not
now
true.
you just go, oh, Elsa, you talk to Toni.
Yeah.
That's what I get all the time now. And I'm like, am I going to talk to her about that? Maybe not.
No, it's really good. I set Elsa up all the time.
Yeah, you
I'm
do.
like, that's a great idea. Elsa, go talk to Toni.
But sometimes I don't now.
Yeah, she just implements
It just fades
and she
away.
uses me as cover.
Yeah.
She's like, I spoke to one of the co-CEOs. But yeah. So no, in terms of the title and all the rest of it, it is a good representation. I mean, again, not caring for titles per se, but if you actually look at it as far as the organisation is concerned, Toni effectively not being promoted because she was always there, but having the recognition of the title
Definitely.
is great.
Yeah, I agree for sure. All right, let's jump into some questions we have from people on Instagram and LinkedIn.
Okay.
One that's for both of you, but I'll start with Toni. What are you most proud of regarding ATP Science?
I would have to say our team. I just love the culture we have here. And for a moment, it got a little bit squidgy, I would say.
Went down a weird dirt path.
But, we've removed the people, I think, that were not fitting with the culture. And now I just love walking in here every day and feeling like this isn't my place, it's our place. I don't feel like it's just Jeff and I who own it and everyone works for us. I feel like, honestly, everyone has a stake in this place. Everyone's here to see it be successful. That's what I love the most. Yeah.
And you, Jeff?
I love the creativity in the place. Toni and I were just saying the other day, and there's a few companies that we watch, and there's been some companies that have been really successful lately, and there's some ones that have been around for a while as well too in our industry, and I can really respect them, and I see what they've done, and I don't mean to belittle them at all, because it's not, because they've created one thing and they've done it really, really well.
For sure.
And I'm looking at some companies bringing out new products at the moment. I'm just laughing because you can see they're a one-trick pony and they don't know where else to go. We are blessed to have incredibly creative people that come up with amazing concepts and ideas and can then bring those through in our MPD.
It's not just creative people. We have got some of the smartest minds. We've got how many degrees in science
17.
here?
Yeah, I was going to say it's
yeah. And the thing is as well too is that they're not just linear in their thought, the collaboration, the problem solving. I look at the NPD, I look at the pipeline of products that we've got coming out probably over the next 2 years. And I always think that we bring best in class, which brings me to one of my biggest frustrations, but we can get onto that later. But we do have amazing products, and we do have products that really, I think, some of them are category defining, some of them are absolutely best in class, and some of them are quite shocking, I think. Like the bar, for example, has taken 5 years to get to where, and we had to bloody well build it ourselves, including the entire system from the ground up. I mean, walking through this facility and seeing the vision and the creativity actually creating this place and what it is about to create. I can see looking forward the vision of the company has been built on years and years of sacrifice and hard work and creativity and a never say die, and the results not excuses. I mean, never say die, right? I mean, it's like, oh my gosh, you know that picture of the frog choking the stork, where it's about to get swallowed and it's you don't know that one else.
Probably.
It's like, I feel like that. And again, I always liken it to making a model, kit plane, jumping off a cliff and putting it together and sort of getting it just before it smashes the ground.
But that's a lot of our team too. I mean, we've put the managers that we've put in place have just got grit. Like they just keep going and going and going until we find a way that works.
So I agree with Toni in part, and I think it's the NPD. It's that is the foundation to create the concepts, the ideas, the new way of doing things. That's what I love. I look at our NPD portfolio going forward, and I'm just like, man, any company would kill to have like what we've got coming.
Oh yeah, it's exciting. It's very exciting.
Yeah, and also what we've done in the past is too with things like Gut Right and the No Way brand and what have you. So, and the Alpha, until a lot of the Alpha products were sort of taken from us, and again, that's a whole nother fun part of business, is learning to adapt when the cheese moves, learning to adapt when you get hit hard. So, yeah.
And then on the back of that, then, like you touched on frustrations just then, what would be probably, your like biggest, I suppose, frustrations being in the positions that you are?
Probably trusting people. Sorry. You go, Toni.
Toni's podcast.
I said probably trusting people.
You
I
copied.
didn't know where you were going with that.
Okay, good. What's your biggest frustration?
I would say, for me, it's the bigger we get, the slower things seem to move. And that just drives me insane. Jeff and I are really fast with everything. Like we do grocery shopping in 15 minutes flat, and that includes it's already in the car, gone.
Yeah.
Like we are
Clothes shopping. Toni, people cannot believe the way
Clothes shopping.
we call it power shopping.
We go valet park, straight up. We are in and out. We have our hands full of the stuff that we need for the season. That's it. That's including children. All done in an hour, out. It's we just don't muck around. So when we know that this is ready to go, yes, we've signed off on it. 4 weeks later, why isn't it here?
Well, and
what the heck is going on?
And I think with some of our retail partners, we've pissed them off by probably being too quick to bring products to market without enough lead time. So,
and there is, we are now, we have got systems and processes. We've got regulations we need to follow. We've got, document control that needs to happen, auditors that need to get in and do things. So it's just all that stuff has to happen. And Jeff and I just are learning to slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
Breathe.
So my biggest frustration, I think, was in terms of, and this has been all the way through, I just trust people, which is really a good thing and a bad thing, but there have been certain people that we've trusted right from day dot, even in earlier organisations, Alcian, and they just, there's sayings that I really hate. And in fact, there was a guy that we used to know who used to say, fake it till you make it, and hustle. And it's like, who are you hustling, mate? And if you fake it and you never make it, are you just a fake? So people that would say yes and not have a clue, but you think that they do, and then screw up and then cover their tracks. We've had a lot of people in the organisation that I thought were doing really good things and came across, as being very, very competent, and you would just find that there would be a steaming pile of horse crap swept under the carpet when you come to ask. So it's probably people not being truthful, not being honest. I have no problem if people go, I don't know, but let me give it a crack and see how I can go.
Absolutely.
Yeah, or if they make a mistake, owning it. And, it's, as I say to my team, it's like always an opportunity to learn and grow from that mistake. Yeah. So never try and hide it.
And work collaboratively.
Yeah.
Collaboratively. Yeah. So just ask for help from a group, because when everyone puts their minds together, we can actually deal with it, not just one person trying to struggle through.
I'll give you an example of just one. I'll give you two. So 2 people made decisions in the organisation. One of those decisions that I've calculated over the last 12 months has cost us $2.5 million in revenue. That's a direct decision where I even had a meeting sitting in this person with the boardroom and said, right, are we on top of that? We've got it all under control. It's all getting signed off. Yes. And these sorts of people are incredibly fill you with confidence. Another person as well too, who was given a position of authority within the company as well too, has cost the company about $960,000 in.
Oh, so far. There's still more coming.
And these are the sorts of things. It's not like one decision, but it's like systemic, and the ability for them to cover their and this is the thing, because Toni and I are not micromanagers, this is where, and the level of trust that we put in people once they're under the gate. And these things are now starting to change as well too, as we get bigger and we've got bloody forensic accountants as business partners, and we've got a CFO, and we've got an accounting team, a group accountant. How many bloody accountants are in this place?
More than the marketing team. This is what I'm
ridiculous.
saying. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
So, but having said that, you can see that those 2 decisions right there is $3.5 million in revenue in a 12-month period.
Oh, yeah.
So
but during COVID as well. It's crushing.
Just the worst time. Worst time. So, yeah.
Lovely.
Lovely.
I don't really know where to go from there.
Okay. Well,
All right.
let's go up from there.
No, let's go to one for Toni, and this is from Nicholas from Instagram. Has it been hard to remain out of the spotlight, or do you enjoy being behind the scenes? We all know the answer to that.
Yeah.
And why have you remained out of the spotlight?
Look, I'm just not. I'm not a spotlight person. I'm sure there's other people like me somewhere.
To the
There is.
I don't do social media. My dog does social media.
biscuit.
Yeah, biscuit, silly sausage. I don't even do that.
I was going to retire.
I was gonna
So
say.
much hard work.
Yeah, it is
Oh my
actually.
goodness.
Yeah, you got to buy likes. That's you
You
got to
should
buy
get Beck
people.
to be doing
Oh
that
no,
for you.
that's just we won't even do that. So, it's just not me. I mean, like I was saying before this went on air, I'm not even in hardly any family photos. Like when I'm the one taking the photos, so it's all Jeff and the boys, Jeff and the boys, Jeff and the boys, the boys, the boys, the boys, the boys, the dog,
Biscuit.
lots of the dog. Which where is he? He should be in here.
Well, I take photos, but they're all blurry, so you don't like
Yeah,
them.
he's shocking. Or
I can't see.
So we've
Who said
got
that?
our son is a giant, right? So he is 13 in a couple of weeks, and he's just shy of 6 foot.
Yeah.
Size 13 shoes. And I bought him some pajamas the other day, and they're all black, like long pajamas, skin tight. He is a rake. So he's just this long, his friends call him spaghetti noodle because he's just this long stick. And they have glow in the dark skeleton bones. So it looks like when you're in the dark, you're just this skinny skeleton. So Jeff had him stand against the wall to take a photo of him because he's paying out on him, thinking it was really funny. Jeff takes a photo with his phone angled down that makes Clayton look like this fat little dwarf. And I'm like, that's why you are not allowed to take. I'm already short enough as it is with a son that towers over me. I don't need fat little short photos. So
You probably
that's
couldn't
why
see one.
I'm not in any
3
photos.
words. Sales, not marketing. Okay. So, like, you know what I mean? If you get that kind of encouragement, no wonder there's no photos, you know? That's all I was going to say. You know, I try my best, but my best obviously isn't
Try
good
your.
enough. Yeah,
Let's
I'm just
not even-
joking.
Anyway, moving on. Carrie Ann actually said I'd really like to know more about Biscuit.
Carrie Ann is my sister.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
That's fake news.
All right, Michaela Footer on LinkedIn. What are the key strengths that you look for in employees, and how do you see them fitting into an irreplaceable role in the company?
Oh. Well, we kind of touched on that. That's a good question.
For me, it's number one. Well, I don't do much of the hiring anymore unless it's specifically a C-suite or a manager role.
We're starting to sniff out the crap ones, though. Hey, like immediately, Toni and I always have to at least meet the people we're going to hire because the amount of
That's
time.
what I mean. If Else is hiring or Mark or Craig or whatever, we always have the walk in,
Veto.
meet them, just do the last check before they get that contract because
So if anyone's applying for a position, they listen to this podcast. When they come in, they'll be like,
Yeah.
Jeff and Toni are assessing your character.
Yeah.
pretty much is.
We are.
And that's all I'm looking for. I'm looking
Character.
for, are you a fit in this culture? Will your personality traits cause clashes with especially key individuals here? And, you know, are you full of crap, really? Because, I mean, they can look fantastic on paper and get a great resume from a friend who still works at the other company.
Oh,
But at the end of the day,
that's a sore
if
spot.
they don't fit with this culture, we're just not having it. And there are certain people that I trust. Elsie, you're excellent at picking your team. We have never had an issue with a single hire that you've done.
No.
Whereas there are others.
Brooklyn?
Well,
Well, actually, I didn't hire her, so.
Tony hired.
Yeah.
You only still have
Yeah, I
a job
did
here
give you
because
that.
you're our comic relief. No, actually, you're
And
awesome, Brooklyn.
she thought
You know
that
you
Toni
are.
was having an affair with Jeff.
oh, has anyone heard that?
Yeah, I
story?
think, have we said it?
I thought we were going to go.
Have we?
I'm telling the story. So Brooklyn was hired by Jeff, and just at the last minute before he hired her, he called me into the room just to meet her, do the check, come in. Oh, by the way, Brooklyn, this is Toni. You know, I don't know what you gave my title, but you didn't say wife. You just said, yeah.
Or
We
probably
like to
last
keep it
name either.
professional.
Yeah.
Probably. work,
yep.
right?
So then she was hired. She's working away, and then after a couple of months, she goes up to another girl that was working for us at the time and says, I've had enough. I don't know how you people can just sit here and just watch this rubbish and not do anything about it. Clearly, Jeff and Toni are having an affair.
And because hadn't Jeff mentioned that he had a wife, right?
Yes, because and I had rings on, my wife, and I had wedding rings on.
Yeah, so she thought,
and so Sam just killed herself laughing and yes, no, because she goes, no, they're having an affair and they're both married. She goes, yes, they're both married to each other. Oh, so funny. So she's never
and the penny dropped.
That was cool.
Oh,
so great.
But no, in terms of the employment and the hire, I'd echo those things. So it's results, not excuses. It's definitely an integrity of character, owning up for your mistakes, being honest, and just being who you are. Like so many people try and be something that they're not. Yeah. So many people project, this is who I want to be, and this is what I want, and also a real focus on putting the company first. And I know that sounds like such an old adage because the whole thing with us is that if you help people to get what they want, you get what you want. It's the same thing in terms of working in an organization. If you put the company first, then naturally you're going to get recognized, you're going to get looked after, and you're going to get promoted.
I don't think it's an old it might be an old mentality, but it's still there. Even just some of our recent hires, like Aaron, out.
But he's another one of those.
He's an old soul.
Yeah,
exactly.
The same with Sam Huntington. That old soul where they've got those olden values, my parents' values for working. But in such a young age, which is just
you hear a lot of, especially the younger crew that are like, and what's my position title?
Yes.
Like
as
straight away, it's like
next.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I agree with
next.
you.
Because I just
how many people will be under me?
Yep.
Yeah, those questions are red flags.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Definitely. Still then on the hiring aspect, this is the same person. So as most of the team at ATP Science have a health science background, what is one area of knowledge and study that you would like to see in the company that you do not currently possess? This person has great questions.
Electrician.
We've got, no, I think we've got.
Actually, I think we've got one. He's awesome.
Yeah. There's actually two.
Oh, gosh. We just this last 6 to 12 months, we've really covered off on so many, hey, food technologists, flavor experts.
Oh, yeah, our R&D team.
Oh, they're just brilliant.
We probably need more people we need more MPD. We probably need, and we probably need more sales in international
marketing.
Markets. But all these things are not quite
really
ready.
Degrees.
What about
I prefer experience over degrees to tell you the truth. Even marketing, I would much prefer experience
100%.
over a degree. So many degrees I find are just a flipping waste of time. It's just to have that thing on a piece of paper to get your foot in the door. But if you do not have that experience, don't care what degree you've got.
I get asked that question all the time about degrees and what did you study? And I tell them what I studied, but
did that help you at all?
Yeah, exactly. I said when I was someone that went straight from school to uni and I just partied and just got through uni and didn't really think too much about it. And it's just been all of the experiences and the learnings in the real world that have done it all for me. So something I was going to say. What about regulatory regulations?
Actually,
yes.
Yes.
I mean, we spend
it's not really Australia, probably maybe, or it's international.
I think because we've got really
FDA.
good consultants here, but FDA. But I mean, that's really hard. Yeah,
it is a beast.
Yeah.
And also the other one as well too. We need good people in really, really good people in logistics going forward.
Oh, yeah.
Like we need people who really, really understand international logistics.
I'd rather experience for that too.
Exactly. So,
true.
I've shipped this here and that here and
Yep.
Cool. All right. Scarlett on Instagram says she loves the branding. Where do you get your inspiration and ideas from?
From me.
Of course.
She wakes up in the morning and looks over her shoulder.
She's my muse.
I am her muse.
It's a process, really. I scour everything, and a lot of the times I'll get inspiration from, I don't know, a painting or just color schemes or whatever. But it's just a process. So I just do design after design that leads to another design, another. It's pretty much just the same as our R&D team with their recipes. One leads on to the next, 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 until I go, oh, that's it. And then make sure that Jeff agrees.
Yeah.
So, that's it.
Yeah, it's always a hard one to explain, isn't it? Because it's such a creative process.
More art than science.
Yeah, exactly.
It really is.
I don't have this whole, mood board thing. It's not, that's very structured. I'm not like that. I'm just.
On the creativity from the brand, so that's the look in terms of the blurb and all the rest of it, just like to be quirky, like to be different. Seth Godin, I've mentioned it so many times, Purple Cow, trying to be different. It's funny because when we first came into the industry, everybody was like, this is the most awesome product. We are going to
formulation.
Yes, we will dominate. Our products are so much better than everybody else's. And it's just like everybody says the same thing every freaking time, right? I mean, yes, you should always be striving to make excellent products, but mystery marketing, quirkiness, humor, all these things, I think, fits with our brand. If you're really, straight up and down corporate, you probably can't do that.
Yeah.
But we like
to have fun.
We like to have fun.
Yeah.
And that sort of represents who we are.
Like
and it's funny when people try and do it and they're not. We've seen that a few times too, and it's kind of like you're really trying to be something that you're not. You've really, again, as Oprah says, you've to their own self be true. But you've just got to be who you are.
Yeah, exactly. And
then just find
flourish.
a way to
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. I want to jump into something we've never actually really spoken about before as a company, and that's sustainability. It's something that we definitely look at in the background, and we are constantly, looking at our options, looking forward in that way, but we've never actively spoken about it. So you're the best person to speak to about it because obviously with packaging and branding and whatnot, and you research so much into sustainability. So let's open that, I suppose, that door. And do you want to maybe start with, I suppose, the different options that you've seen out there and what we are doing behind the scenes?
There isn't that much, to be honest, especially in food. The ones that I have seen, and I've been looking all across the US and Australia, the ones that I have seen companies bring out, I am hesitant to move into it because when you actually look at the science of the so-called biodegradable packaging, when it breaks down, it isn't breaking down to completely nothing. What it's breaking down is into small pieces of plastic that then the wind picks up and scatters everywhere. So instead of having a tub floating in the ocean or landfill, you now have a massive problem with microplastics.
Well, that's
everywhere.
Already
and
a huge problem.
To me, is that not a bigger problem? I mean, if fish are swallowing those plastics, fish, animals in the ocean, whatever it is, consciously, I just can't then go and do the whole marketing spiel saying, we're so proud to announce we now moved into biodegradable, sustainable packaging like all the other companies are doing because hand on my heart, I don't believe it's actually the best answer.
Yeah.
Right now, we've got fully recyclable containers. I have been looking into compostable refill bags that we could then offer as an option for, buy the refillable pack and then fill it. However, they keep leaking, so you can't use them for food. We have got them from many different companies. And as soon as I fill them, they don't seal properly. They leak. The R&D team are like, nope, too many NCRs against those. So there just isn't enough in technology for it yet. And then even the companies that are using these so-called biodegradable tubs and pouches, they're laminating them when they actually then put either the label on or they go to print. So that laminate is not biodegradable. So it's another marketing ploy. And
Yeah.
At ATP Science, I
Have to be real.
cannot do the marketing lies just to make yourself look like you're moving in a direction that fits with all the Google keywords and the trends that everyone's doing when it is a lie. So we will market it if it's truth, but if it is not, we just can't do it. And that's what I love about our team. The rest of you aren't going, but Toni, we must do something about sustainability. We must do these packaging because everyone else is doing it as well. You all agree we will not do it until it is actually truth.
Yeah.
So yes, still looking. And I hope there will be something soon.
Absolutely.
Because there are for certain industries and you can use it, but not for food.
And that's what I was going to say is that a lot of people, I suppose, just think that packaging is packaging. And that's what we get a lot. If we, even touch on the topic on socials, like we get a lot of feedback on like, why are you not using this? Why can't you use this? Yeah. But like, it's different for food, and that's what people don't understand.
And different foods.
Yeah,
for
sure. Definitely.
So, you can have the cardboard tube containers, which I love.
Ice cream.
However, but
that's a big one.
Well, no, I'm talking about just for powders and things.
All right.
But a lot of our powders are very hygroscopic. So if that water gets into that, you're talking about going from a 12-month shelf life down to a 6-month shelf life. No retailers will ever touch our products. So and then the cost of that goes up for the consumer. So
it's a false economy and it's lies. And again, it has to be based on truth. I mean, one of the things that we said with the company is that as far as we understand, as far as we know, we will always deliver the best, and we're not going to fudge it. And the sustainability thing's huge. Just from a sales and a corporate point of view, I want a solution.
Absolutely. I have not stopped.
Notwithstanding, the highest thing is actually taking care of the planet. The pollution that's in the Pacific, the plastic, is horrendous, right? And I absolutely hate it. The microplastics that are into our environment. And I mean, at the end of the day, that's one of the things that we really care about is, the people, the planet, animals, 100%. But we're always going to go with the best option that we possibly can. I mean, the ice cream was an interesting one because we wanted to go into cardboard containers. We really, 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 and it's like, but hang on, they're not recyclable. You can't, right now, any of the ice cream containers that are cardboard have got a wax coating over them and they're not recyclable.
You'd never think that as an average consumer, right? I'm just thinking of that now myself and I'm like, wow.
99 out of 100 people would go, what is better, this plastic one or this cardboard one? Oh, the cardboard one. Actually, no, the plastic one, if you look on the bottom of it, it's got a 3, which is a fully recyclable.
Yeah, but even if you're not talking about recyclable, it's still made from, from cardboard. But you've also then got the issue of production. Not every production facility can handle every sort of material and tub. And our ice cream manufacturers can't do the cardboard. So, they can't right now. And the same with us here. We can't do the pouches without spending more money on more equipment. And it's just, comes to that point where do you stop? Where do you draw that line? And, even if you're looking at pouches, we've had pouches in the past where consumers actually hate them. They hate having to put their hand down through the middle. They hate that the sticky residue of the powder then won't do the zip up anymore. And half of them then take it out of that thing and put it into their own container. So what's the point? So, it's a tricky one.
Yeah. And I think, it's just important to note that, we are, like you've both said, like we constantly looking at new options and new ways to improve. So, yeah. All right. Now I don't know where I'm up to. Oh, great. Yeah. Let's move to the industry. So what are 2 things that really frustrate you both about the industry, and then 2 things that you really love about the industry?
Which industry?
That we're in.
Health,
let's
fitness,
go health
wellness.
This is the thing.
Fitness.
We're in so many now.
Let's just
general
let's
health,
do
wellness.
Health, wellness, yeah.
Okay. Probably. Maybe it's not the industry as a whole. It might just be where everything's moving now, especially in terms of marketing for me. It's all about the influencer, and people don't trust what the brand is saying. They only trust their influencers. But Yeah, I have such a massive problem with that, especially when so many influencers, at the end of the day, they're only promoting brands that are going to pay them the money. So are they really trustworthy or more trustworthy than the brand, or are they just telling you? It's just another way of marketing, isn't it? So they're feeding you whatever rubbish they're going to in order to get that sale, to get the money from the company anyhow. So, and then they don't even have to disclose that they do, but they don't, that they're actually marketing to you. And I think that's where it gets really, really tricky for the consumer trying to wade through the rubbish of who's telling them the truth and who's not, when they don't even know that they're being marketed to. So, yeah, that's my gripe in marketing land. But the industry itself, I think, is I think in Australia is struggling a little bit recovering from COVID. So it's a little bit sticky out there at the moment with the economy, so wishy-washy. But yeah.
Regulatory affairs would be the biggest thing for me, and also where the vested interests and the powers that be, he who has the gold makes the rules. The young upstart companies that are looking to promote natural products, wellness and health, that fly in the face or create a wave are going to get kneecapped and taken out. And I think for me as well too is that things that are good are called evil and things that are evil are called good. And it's only seeming to be perpetuated more and more now. I am really angry and frustrated when you get singled out for doing something, and even if it's considered to be wrong through the, through regulation. Now, whether you agree with that or not, that's one thing. You abide by the rules, and you have to play by the rules, right? If you want to play in a game, you have to abide by the rules. But then, when you see just a flood of other companies from overseas, specifically as well too, that just flout those rules, and there seems to be nothing to get done by it. I mean, I don't think it's any secret that ATP have had a pretty hard couple of years, notwithstanding some of the things that we did that were wrong as opposed to the law. Again, whether you agree with them or not, you abide by them, and we agree to that. But that's the thing that frustrates me, when it's not a level playing field, when other people are doing far, far worse and yet seeming to get away with it with absolutely no problem whatsoever. So that to me is probably my biggest frustration, which is why the company has pivoted so rapidly and moved into new areas where we feel that we can be competitive and that we feel that we can offer, excellent products and services that cut through. Because it's the cut through, as Toni said, it's the same thing with marketing and all the rest of it. You're looking for that cut through. And so whether that's an influencer or whether that's through education, you've just got to find a way. But you just want things to be fair, a fair playing field. And that's the thing that probably frustrates me the most. Yeah,
that's a valid one. All right, let's go to Cara I think Cara was in the tribe actually. What is one piece of important advice that you would give to your younger CEO self? I know you hate that, managing director self.
I don't know, whether it be maybe not trust and leave things in people's hands so easily. I think that would be it. Make sure the checks and balances are in place over everyone.
Trust but verify, I think they call that, Toni.
Yeah. I already have control issues as it is, so leave. And it's hard though. The bigger you get, you have to start letting go. And if you don't, you just run yourself into the ground, or else you're doing everything. And you have to, that's why your position's so important, because you've been with us so long. You're like our blooming eldest daughter. It's, and I trust you so completely, and I want to have that same level of trust with others as well. And it just doesn't pay off. I think that would be my number one word of caution, because that's sort of gotten us into hot spots a couple of times.
What about you, Jeff?
Oh, it's a really good question, because there's just so much that you could say. But I guess if there was one piece of advice, it would probably be ultimately, trust your gut and like go with your instinct. And if something doesn't really feel right, don't feel like you have to make the decision. Because there's been a lot of times where we've kind of taken decisions in haste and repented at leisure. So
That's that
it's
fast-moving us again.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean that sometimes if you're moving fast, it's not good. But when you're making a decision, which is the lesser of two evils, you're still choosing evil. Best not to make it at all.
And not when it's emotional either.
Have to take emotion out of the game, and that's hard.
It's getting easier. It's getting much easier now.
Yeah.
The older we get too, I think it's just you start learning and you stop feeling that stress response to every little stress that comes your way. So it has to be pretty freaking massive now for Jeff and I to get worked up over it, especially some of the stuff we've been through now. It's like great training ground.
Well, I mean, as I said, I think there's been a lot of injustices and a lot of things that don't really seem fair, even if you could say it is life. And I was about to say that if you get done doing 105 on the freeway, someone goes past you at 120, you're still doing 105. And that kind of goes to my last question. You just have to then get on with it, and you have to work out, okay, how do I go forward, and how do I play in the rules and reinvent? Just change, pivot. When the cheese moves, you have to move. And that's probably the big one. Don't keep going back to the same well and drawing for it when it's dry. If things change, legislation change, rules change, COVID changes, the way people shop change, the perception changes, you can always reinvent, create something new, create something exciting and different, so long as it fits with who you are at the core.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And a lot of these lessons that we've learned with that sort of stuff too is great for us helping the kids, because that's the number one thing that kids, especially our eldest, whinge about. It's not fair. But it's not fair. It's like, okay, let's talk to you about that, sweetie.
Yeah.
And so they stop saying that after a while because they realize, life is not fair, and you're going to get thrown things. Yeah.
Cool. All right, a couple more questions. Hardest thing you've gone through to date with the company? It's a pretty big question, but there's been a lot.
There's a few.
But definitely, like, hand on heart, the hardest one. Like, can you?
The TGA stuff.
Yeah.
That was hard but good. We were talking about this yesterday.
Yeah. It needed to happen.
The other day. It needed to happen.
Ultimately,
and I want to put this on the record, we were wrong.
Yeah.
I mean,
definitely.
even you did the other day. You looked back because we're going through some stuff at the moment over in the US. And Elsa had to troll through some stuff back in, I think it was 2014 you went back to, and you went, oh, look what we used to say about this. And it's like,
not that we don't believe that what we were saying was true, but according to the legislation
it's exactly the
and
same
the
as
law,
what we're saying under TGA. It's the same thing we're saying, but we weren't under TGA.
Yeah.
We were under FSANS, yes. Yeah. And now we understand that separation, even though there's still many grey areas across the two of them. Yeah, it's quite funny.
It really is. You can only really laugh about it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, and I'd say, and probably alongside that is the betrayal of trust and the confidence that Toni and I have put in people for the last 20 years, right back to the initial company that we had. And again, that's probably a weakness is trust is a really good thing, but it can also be a double-edged sword. So it's really not trusting with verifying, it's trusting a bit blindly. And I think that's probably on us.
Yeah, it's trusting because we didn't want to have to deal with that.
Yeah.
It's out of our skill set, especially when it comes to operation things. We're both very creative, so we then hire others to then go, here, this is where we're going, take this, do this. And so we then trust, as in let go because we don't want to do it, and let them take it. So that's
so bringing in accountability, and part of the partners that we've brought in as well too from an operational point of view has been systems driven, There are senior leadership team meetings. There are monthly board
There are
meetings.
meetings for everything.
But there's nowhere to hide. And this is why all this rubbish is coming out. And so now going forward, there is a system. If you the things that you don't want to do in the company or that you don't like to do, then create systems, balances and checks and bring people in that are cross accountable so that nobody can get away with stuff, if that makes sense. And then once you've got those relationships and people have proven over time that you can trust them, then you can give them a bit more bandwidth and more run. Yeah.
What is your favourite meeting, by the way? Love to know.
StageGate.
Yeah.
I love StageGate.
Yeah.
That's my favorite because it's all about NPD
creative.
and it's creative. And I also like the
Where
marketing
things are
meetings
at.
as well too. But I love coming up with, no, I do, because I love the creativity that comes up with
There are creative
that's
releases
kind of
in
in our
those
place.
meetings. The other
Yeah.
ones are just
Boring.
holy moly spreadsheets and
Yeah.
ticking boxes.
Scary stuff,
and,
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, last question. Goals for the future. So for yourself and ATP, what would be your biggest goals?
For myself, Jeff, you go first. You wait till I've answered so you can sit there thinking of you're first.
Okay. So goals for the company?
For both. So yourself personally and then ATP as well.
So for myself, probably I've just lost a lot of my mojo personally. Like I've had so many injuries with football and just so much, like separated the shoulder, did the knee. I've lost what I love doing, which is football. Like, and I've lost a lot of passion for my fitness. So I really want to get back that because I was absolutely loving it, and I kind of feel a little bit lost. So probably personally, I know that sounds funny, but it's probably getting that drive back into, because when Toni and I, for the first 15, 16, 17 years, Toni would get annoyed because I'd be training. And now it's like I'm almost gone the other way. And I think because of the last couple of years, I've taken a crap ton out of us personally.
You're all or nothing.
Yeah,
So
I'm very much
you're
all or
either
nothing.
Fully doing
100%
it, or you
or
do
not.
absolutely nothing.
And so I just kind of lost a little bit of that. So I want to get that drive and that momentum back, with regards to that. With business, taking the company public is probably one. The visualization or the realization of the No Way brand, which is the bars, the gummies, the ice cream. I think that's probably the other big one for me personally. It's not that gut right's obviously incredibly important. We've got some amazing nootropics coming out. We've got an amazing, some amazing products coming out. But for me personally, the bar has been 5 years, and that is the flagship, I guess, of the No Way brand that we're bringing out. And literally, we're months away now from finally bringing out what I think is the world's most amazing, convenient protein snack. And I know that it's funny because it might not be as revolutionary as some of the encapsulated products that we've got that are really seriously helping with people's health. But because it's been such a long vision, because it's been so much effort to create something from scratch, we've gone down so many dead ends and we've just had so many, frustrations and just to see that finally come through. I think it's going to be an absolute world beater, but just to see that product and to see people enjoy it and to get that product out into the marketplace, that's probably personally.
Yeah, I think I'd be the same for the bar for sure. And then I think for personal, it's more, that's such a hard question because Toni, am so absorbed in family that there is no separation. And it's our entire life right now is so busy. It's insane. My phone has so many alarms on it to tell me what uniforms the kids need to take to school with them to change into, what sport they've got on, so what type of sporting equipment they need to take, when assignments are due, what talks they've got coming up, like what basketball games they've got on. Our eldest trains 4 days a week and can play up to 6 games from a Friday to a Sunday. that is our life. So my goal is
And Tony's
just to
the manager.
get a little tiny piece on a weekend where I'm not then organising what groceries need to be done for the food that I need to cook during the week, for their lunches, for dinners, how I'm going to work out, how I've got to get to the gym in the afternoon after work, after I pick the kids up, after I've done the homework, after I've dropped them to basketball, sneak in 45 minutes of training to get back to get the cooking on so that I can get the youngest one into bed in time so that he's not exhausted the next day. So it's just, and this is most mothers, I'm assuming, and if fathers, well, this father doesn't have to worry about any of that. He has no clue what week of school it is. He has no clue what they've got coming up. He doesn't know what uniform they got to wear for that day. It's just me saying, Jeff, it's sports uniform for Corbin. Clayton's got to wear his whites. Yes, okay. So he goes and does it. It's just, library day today. He knows none of that. Doesn't organise what food. Oh my gosh, can't even cook any food. Well, sometimes when I say this out loud, I'm like, what the heck did I do marrying this guy?
I don't know.
I told you she looks stunning.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting a bit squidgy now.
Shallow at that age.
I know, right? So I'm not really sure what I'm bringing to the table.
Jeff's just sitting here looking
Does the
defeated.
dishes. He's very good at packing that dishwasher.
I'm like a dishwashing machine.
You are, and you're getting
I'm the
so much faster now.
Dish master.
Used to take forever. Now it's just like, whew. So yeah, I don't know.
Just that
I really haven't got into that mode of me. It's just such a busy time in our life. And I used to think when they were little, it's so busy. When they're older, it's going to be so much easier. That is a lie. The older they get, the busier it gets.
Yeah.
And it's not until, I guess, they're out of home that it finishes.
See, Tony, I just say, what would Oprah do? I mean, she's the woman that you look up to, that you want to be. So just thinking, she would. You remind me a lot of Oprah. Actually, I look at you and I think Oprah. But I'm thinking, maybe nanny and housemaid and cook. Yes.
No, I like cooking.
Okay.
I don't want a nanny.
And I think that's the hard thing, right? Is that I know a lot of mums are the same. They're like, get a nanny. No, yeah, I know, but that's like a common question, right?
Yeah.
It's like, well, you could get a nanny, and they're like, no, like I want to spend the time with my kids.
Absolutely.
Like that's not the problem.
I want
It's
to do
just
the homework and it's just it's like when they're little and, you get the sleepless nights and it's just you walking zombie but this is only a short time and you only have such a short time. I mean, Clayton's turning 13 next week and we only have him for a little bit more. 3 more years, he's not going to want to hang out with us on the weekends anymore. No. So we're doing everything now to get the most out of it because after 16, he's probably not going to come back to mum and dad and spend time with us until 20-something years old.
No, Clayton's pretty special.
Well, he is a mummy's
Corbin,
boy.
on the other hand.
Corbin will be out of there tomorrow, mate. He's 7 going on 13.
All right. Well, I think we have covered so much today and that was really good. I really enjoyed that. I hope everyone gets a lot out of this episode. Thank you, Toni, for finally coming and joining us.
It's my pleasure.
You didn't ask the last 3 questions.
I didn't actually. Well, let's do them quickly because they are quick questions.
And they're the fun ones because I like to hear what people say.
All right.
And
Favorite
Toni
movie?
won't be able to answer. Your favourite movie?
Oh, I never remember.
Exactly.
Lord of the Rings.
What?
Okay.
No, what?
Or The Hobbit.
Okay, we'll see. Yeah,
I
that's
like The
probably
Hobbit.
true. Yeah.
All right. Favorite quote? It's a hard one.
He does the quotes and I just
I
know. Thou shalt, I don't know.
Thou shalt not pass. Yes, probably. See, there's
I
a
like
theme
Lord of
going
the
on
Rings.
here. Who said that?
Gandalf.
Oh.
Gandalf the Grey he was at that point.
Oh, snap.
All right. Last one. Best piece of advice that you have been given and by whom, if you want to say.
Oh,
Those shoes don't go with that dress. I think I told you this.
This question is so not Toni.
it's so not me. If someone did give me advice, I don't know.
In one ear, out the other.
Yeah. I just,
Don't let him get away.
that
Yeah.
must have been
Your
it.
mum.
That
Yeah.
was it.
Yeah.
Of course. Awesome. All right.
Sorry to disappoint.
That's okay. It was fun for Jeff. So that's amazing.
It always is.
See, Elsa knows me so well.
That's
she's
why
just
I
like,
didn't even ask.
She's not even going to be able to answer these.
Okay. All right. Well, yes, I hope everyone enjoyed that. Thanks, Toni.
Thanks,
and
Toni.
thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.